Gaffer, 2 weeks seems a long time in football. How important was that draw back up at Wrexham?
Seems a long time, yeah. Of course, it was very important, the nature of the day, as we've reported already. But it was a game that we had to rise above the shenanigans, if that's the word. You know, like their hope and their dreams and their fun and their Hollywood stars, etc. Good luck to them, of course. We didn't start that well, to be honest. We wasn't too happy with our first half performance, but second half, you know, we raised it a little bit and scored a fantastic goal. And it sort of burst their balloon a little bit at the end, which was good for us, not so good for them. And then Wrexham go and prove, you know, what a good side they could be if you're not on your game, when they won the next game 5-0 at Aldershot. So it was a big result for us. We've been now to Chesterfield, Notts County, Wrexham, you know, these sort of so-called favourites to go up, and we've got draws out of them. Now, if it wasn't for our home form and a couple of our away games, but Bromley and Boreham Wood, but we've played some big teams away from home, and now we've got to concentrate on getting points as much as we can in our home games, where we didn't start that well with results in home games. But we're 3 unbeaten now, 3 wins on the trot at home, so it'd be great to keep that going.
And of course, nobody ever wants to have a free weekend in football, and it's very rare to actually have any sort of break. But is there some forms where it could be seen as a positive? Because of course there's very few times where you can actually sit back, assess, because there's a very important spell for the club coming up, isn't it?
It is, and when you've got over the reason why you're not playing on that Saturday, i.e. you've been knocked out of the cup, then you can start thinking positively. But all of us, you know, felt very down, I suppose, that we'd been knocked out of the cup and didn't have our chance to go to Charlton. Because I think, you know, that would have been a good day for us. So we was all a little bit disappointed. However, once we'd give them a couple of hard sessions to think about themselves and looking after their bodies for a couple of days over the weekend, they could think about why they weren't playing, but also they needed that break. And then we've come back, had a practice game which was very competitive, which was great, and without anybody being silly, but it certainly was competitive. Then all of a sudden, you know, we're now into the realms of looking ahead rather than sort of looking back. But so you're right, it gave us a good number of days to work them and to get back to not basics necessarily, but just reiterate our principles and our way of playing.
The next few games will see the team take on teams below them and around them. A strong set of results could change the whole picture of the league table, couldn't it?
At any time this early, if you like, before you've even reached half the games, a run of wins will put you in a stronger position, obviously, and that's what we got to do very quickly, so that we, you know, are on the verge of the playoffs, or, you know, certainly within a game or two, or another game, a win or two, to get into the playoff positions, because you've got to try and be up there by Christmas. Last year we had a great start. This year we haven't had such a good start, but I think our squad is good enough and will be good enough once we get all of that squad together and everybody fit and flying. You know, we don't seem to have all our players available to us that we would like any one week. So we've had to change it, move it, this, that and the other, and people get injuries and then are not fit for the next game because they've been injured, so then you have to work them, and then, you know, so it's and then somebody else gets injured and they have to drop out. So it's a bit of a vicious circle sometimes. But you know, we didn't have any injuries at the start of our season last year, but we had all our problems in the middle of the season. So hopefully we can get ourselves, you know, pretty soon in with a challenging position.
How do you assess the strength of your squad? Because obviously you've had 3 players that have made their debuts in the last 2 games, Byron Moore being the latest.
Yeah, that's another positive for having these couple of weeks, because we could, you know, get Byron Moore fitter. He certainly knows the game. He's a very, very good footballer. He certainly looked like he had his fitness on Monday when we had the practice games. So yeah, it's good for people like him to have that time to be match fit. Now, whether he's 90 minutes match fit right this minute, you know, we've still got a few more days. But yeah, we've been pleased with his fitness. I mean, it should be said now that because Alex and I was in that same situation, but Alex has now left the club, not for any bad reason, but he's got a mortgage, he's got a wife, he's got a house in London. He was on a short contract. He had to make a decision, and we had to make a decision, and between the pair of us, we decided that it was probably best to seek another club, and that's what, you know, we've all agreed. Still friends, still mates. We'll help him where we can. We thank him for the time he was here and wish him well for the future. But we had to make a decision as he did. So that's important for people to know that.
On to Saturday's opponents then. Dover have really been written off by almost everybody, probably apart from yourself.
Yeah.
That makes them very dangerous opponents.
It's always apart from the manager that they're coming up against next, and that happens to be us. Well, you know, that's going to happen. You've got to find out why they're losing all these games on a regular basis, because actually they've got some decent players in their squad. I think they had quite a few injuries early on, but I think pretty much they're all back fit now. We'll wait and see. But we've had to work on us, and then obviously, like we always say, we've got to be aware of, if you don't turn up and play your game, then what is their game that can cause you a problem? And we've got to be aware of that.
And finally, Gaffer, with the NHS and carers being honoured at Plainmoor with up to 1,000 free tickets being given out by the club to those in that industry, it's a wonderful opportunity on Saturday to say thank you to them all, isn't it?
It is. What do you mean? We got to win to be able to say thank you? No, listen, we can say thank you anyway, can't we? Hopefully they'd have enjoyed it, in which case, if they're Torquay supporters, you know, or fans of football, then obviously they'll want to see a good game, and if they're Torquay fans, they want to see a win. I understand that, but we can thank them anyway, can't we? You know, it puts football in perspective. It don't mean to say that we're going to be any less vigilant in the game, but it does put football in perspective. These people are dealing with life and death every day, and we've all needed them. So anything anybody does or can do that gives them something other than the life or death situations, then it's a fantastic thing to do, and we all appreciate it because we all need them, absolutely, and they do a fantastic job, and we're very proud of what they do, because you can say the NHS as a big, but each individual plays their part. And I remember Lee coming back from going into a critical unit in a hospital and realising the pressure that they're under. Do you know what I mean? There's his life and death sort of thing, and it sort of helped him in his managerial stuff, and helped me because he passed it on. You know what I mean? And I was in that situation a little bit, and I knew how much they care, and I do. So from me, personal point of view, I want to say thanks, and I want to say thanks for what they do for everybody, and whatever they get whatever we can give them financially, or little things like this from the government financially, or show our appreciations, then it should be done, because they do a fantastic job, as we all know.